so now we've cleaned up our setup and we have all the makings for a consistent and repeatable stroke. So now it's time to focus our attention on the first fundamental skill, which is center contact. And the reason that this is so important is, as we move our impact away from the center of the club face, the most stable part of the club, towards the toe or the heel, our ability to transfer the energy that we've created during our backswing completely into the golf ball diminishes, meaning the golf ball does not go as far. When we're looking at an off-center strike, we could lose as much as 10% of that energy transfer. So if we're looking at a 10-foot putt, we could come up as much as 6 to 8 inches short relative to a center strike. So when we're looking at judging distance and calibrating distance, it's critical that we hit that golf ball in the center of the club face. Plus, if we're looking at a swing with any sort of speed, either a lag putt or any sort of full swing, when you hit it out on the outer edges, again, the club is not stable, we also begin to get some twisting effect, which is going to create some issues with directional control. So to help us with this, what I want you to do is grab 2 sleeves of golf balls or some similar items, and we're going to set them down and create a gate that's just wider than your club face. And then with your good setup fundamentals, I want you to address an imaginary golf ball that's roughly 2 inches to the right of that opening, and we're going to focus in on the task of swinging through the gate and avoid hitting the 2 sleeves. In doing this, I want you to make 1 swing at a time and hold your finish after each one. Make it a real stroke here through that gate. And I'd have you make a swing for a 15 or 20 foot putt. So we've got a good amount of swing here to work with. Now for most of you, that's going to be pretty easy. So we're going to complicate things by adding the golf ball. And the reason this complicates things is as soon as the ball shows up, we get distracted and we lose track of the task of swinging the club, and we get fixated on the result. Did I make it? Did I miss it? And if you're a result-oriented golfer, the game of golf is going to drive you insane if it hasn't already. So let's get focused on the task. Complete the task. If we swing through this space and complete the task, you're going to hit that golf ball in the center of the club face each and every time. So if you're one of those people, though, when the ball shows up and we hit the outside sleeve, that's a case where we have a tendency to either push or try to guide the golf ball down the line, and the result is we get that separation in our arms. So if you're somebody with that issue, we're going to grab our gloves, stick them underneath our arms, and begin with a couple of swings without the ball, and just get back on track with the connection. From there, we put the ball in play, and we're going to be able to quickly get ourselves back on track and find the center of the club face. Now, if you're somebody that has the opposite issue and we're hitting the inside sleeve, typically that's associated with our eyes and the result. The reason is that we're more focused over here, so as I strike the golf ball, my body turns so that my eyes can look. My eyes are attached to my shoulders through my neck, so if my head and eyes turn, my chest turns. The result is my arms swing to the left, and I pull the ball. I strike, by hitting the sleeve on the heel, I'm striking the golf ball on the toe. So not only am I pulling the ball, but I'm also going to have distance control issues. The opposite of what we saw with the previous swing, where you pushed, and again, that would result in a ball going out to the right and a miss hit off the heel. So if we're one of those people, we're going to get ourselves back on track by focusing on the task. And I want you to do 2 things. Get us a little bit more swing set and less merry-go-round. So we're going to get the mechanical aspect fixed and get our shoulders working a little bit more up and down. And then I want you to add the focus of trying to separate the stroke from the look. We're going to keep our eyes down on the task, separate the stroke from the look. If you can separate the stroke from the look and then look for the result after, your body's going to move in the right direction. So this is a quick way to help us master the fundamental skill of center contact, and once we're comfortable with this, we're ready to move on to the next fundamental skill, which is square contact. at this point, most of the hard work is complete. We've got a great setup, we've got a great stroke, and we're now consistently striking the golf ball in the center of the club face. So at this point, we're ready to focus on the second fundamental skill, which is square contact. And when we're talking about square contact, we're talking about face control and our ability to consistently deliver a square club face, or a club face that is perpendicular to our starting line, meaning it's not open or shut. And you should know that about 85% of our starting line is determined by the orientation of our club face relative to path. So in this case for putting, it's critical for us to be able to start a golf ball on line after we've read the break, we've got everything figured out. It is critical for us to be able to start that golf ball on the desired line. So to help us with that, I want you to grab a Sharpie and you're going to draw a line on a couple of golf balls. Some of you may have one of those cups you can clip on there that'll help you draw a nice straight line. Once that's done, we want to set that golf ball down with that line perfectly straight. And now the task is to simply roll that line end over end. The tighter that line rolls, the squarer our club face is. So again, we get into a good setup position, good hip tilt, good straight line, and simply roll the line. Now for those of you that may have the club face open or shut at impact, two things are going to happen. One, that line is going to begin to wobble or blur. And two, because of the face orientation, we're going to see the golf ball shoot offline in that direction. So if we see that happening, it's going to look like this. So I got a nice setup, but my face is going to be open, in this case at impact. That golf ball got side spin relative to the club face, and the ball shot out to the right. So again, in that situation, even if I'm just a couple degrees off, that's enough to miss the golf ball right of the hole. So once we're comfortable with rolling the line and we got that figured out, we can go ahead and tie that in to our previous drill, and now we have a nice package to work on center contact and square contact. So again, we're focusing in on completing the task of swinging through that space with the added notion of rolling the line end over end. And it's that easy. So what I'd have you do is work on each one of these drills individually. I would do each one roughly 15 to 20 reps at a time, and maybe do that 2 or 3 times a week, and I think you're going to be really pleased with the results come spring. And once we're comfortable with this, it's going to be very easy for us to apply these same fundamentals to the next part of our game that we're going to be talking about, which is our short game. So work hard with these ideas and have fun, stay warm, and I'll see you next time.